Now at 10, a motorcycle crash sends a man to the hospital. We'll have details. Plus, the Pittsburgh Police Department will receive new equipment. We'll hear what that could mean for the community. And the Pitt State Gorillas look ahead to their first playoff matchup since 2014.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Joplin woman pleads guilty in federal court to kidnapping a woman whose body was later found in Mays County, Oklahoma. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. 23-year-old Brianna Sloan admitted in July of 2020 she helped co-defendant Trey Ackerson of Joplin kidnap Osage Nation citizen Jolene Walker Campbell. Authorities say Trey Ackerson kidnapped Campbell, murdered her, and conspired with others, including Sloan, to tamper with witnesses involved in the murder investigation. He's charged for all those crimes. Also in this case, Kimberly Grissom, Lane Bronson, and Jacob Scribner, all of Joplin are charged with tampering with witnesses in separate incidents. For a full breakdown of events and charges in the crime, download the KOAM News Now app. A motorcycle rider is in the hospital after a crash in Joplin involving an SUV. Happened this afternoon. Joplin police say an SUV was traveling south on Jackson when it collided with a motorcyclist traveling east on 4th. The motorcycle rider was taken to the hospital with what are described as traumatic injuries to his lower legs. Joplin police spokesman says the driver of the SUV was not hurt. A married couple who operated a Lamar, Missouri business are now both charged with stealing. Dennis and Brenda Masters own and operate the Rustic Barn Flea Market in Lamar. Now, we told you previously that authorities had charged Dennis Masters with the theft of thousands of dollars worth of payments and goods. Well, now the prosecutor has added 2 felony stealing charges against both Dennis and his wife, Brenda. Pittsburgh Police Department will receive new equipment. KOAM's Kerry Worthen has more.
I am so excited for this thing. It's going to be so neat when it gets here.
On November 8th, the Pittsburgh State Commission authorized the police department to make a purchase through Axon Enterprises for 55 of their new TASER 7 devices.
The tasers we have currently, the X2 model from TASER, we've had since 2014, and they're 8 years old. Some of them are starting to show advanced signs of wear and disrepair, so it's about time to upgrade to a newer model.
But the police officers will get more than just a taser. They will get hands-on training to better protect our community.
With the tasers, we're getting a training package that includes a bodysuit that we can actually do hands-on training with, plus a virtual reality training suite that includes VR goggles, headset, tablet, and I don't know what the terms they're going to use, but it's like a VR taser, and it allows us to introduce our officers into scenarios where they can encounter persons in crisis in different scenarios.
The cost of this program is going to be $240,000 that is going to be used through the public safety sales tax.
Plus, we're going to get 2 people once a year for 5 years. We'll get to go to one of them. We get to go to a master's level training course. We'll go to get to a basic instructor level training course. So we're going to have additional training aspects being able to come into here and help our officers. So it's just going to be it's a wonderful thing. We're very thankful and fortunate for the public safety sales tax to be able to do this anyway. But also, through the assistance of the federal government, we're able to get the $235,000 reimbursement. So we're getting a huge package for just literally $5,000.
It will take about a day for each officer to be trained on the new tasers. In Pittsburgh, Kerry Worthen, KOAM News.
Students and faculty at Pitt State interested in the judicial system and a chance to meet professionals today. The School of History, Philosophy, and Social Sciences at PSU hosted 3 judges from the Kansas Court of Appeals. The judges spoke about their work and met some of the faculty and students.
I think it's a good way to make this job approachable to the students, to tell them, like for example, I'm the first in my family to go to college, and I hadn't even met a lawyer before I went to law school. And I think when we tell our stories in person to the students, it can encourage them to follow that path so they don't feel intimidated about going into the legal profession or trying to get on the bench someday.
Their visit is part of the Kansas judicial system's ongoing efforts at outreach to communities and institutions in Kansas. Another cold night ahead of us, Doug Hetty.
Yeah, it's definitely getting colder outside. Plus, we're getting snow showers, which you can see on the tower cam, just kind of blowing sideways with the wind, but a cold front rolled through. We did make it to 50 earlier today started at 20, and we're going to cool off quite a bit more as we go through the overnight hours. Most of us are sitting mid-30s at this point in time. We have these northerly winds kicking in at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, and what that is doing is making it feel even colder than what it actually is. But look at the snow. It's really blossomed across the region. Now, it's not reaching the ground in areas really from Lamar, Pittsburgh to Parsons, Independence, but along the state line of Kansas and Oklahoma through Joplin and south, it is reaching the ground. So that is something we're going to watch as we go through the next several hours. We'll have more on this, looking at Thanksgiving, here in just a bit.
See you soon. A new partnership with Wesley House will provide a number of new programs, more staffing and services to help meet the needs of low-income families in the area. The group will serve the community this Christmas season by providing a Christmas box with food and toiletries, as well as a meat voucher to Ron's Supermarket, which will be available for pickup mid-December. The Community Health Center, which is partnering with Wesley House, has 15 clinic locations throughout southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. Electrical technology students from Pitt State were at Ronald McDonald House today getting some hands-on experience. Students visited to help change out wall outlets or light switches as needed. The activity is part of an ongoing partnership between Ronald McDonald House and Pitt State. The partnership has continued for more than 4 years. Preservation of history is a never-ending process, and one way to do that was through time capsules. Steadley Elementary in Carthage, Missouri this afternoon looked for a time capsule. They couldn't find it, but they did bury a new one. Inside the new time capsule, pictures and signatures of current students and faculty in last year's yearbook.
I hope that these things not only survive but end up displayed somewhere, and that they get to show their kids, and a whole bunch of people can look at it at the same time. And we laminated everything or bagged it, and just very hopeful that it survives the elements.
The new time capsule helps mark the school's 25th anniversary. Coming up, changes in leadership.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she won't run for party leadership but will keep her seat in Congress. I'm Skylar Henry on Capitol Hill with reactions and Congress's potential new look next session.
Plus, a court convicts 3 men for shooting down a jumbo jet. The Affordable Care Act has apparently helped some Americans kick the smoking habit. According to a study in the journal Addiction, U.S. adults with mental health and substance abuse disorders smoked less than those without health insurance coverage during the first decade following the passage of the law in 2010. A new study in the British Medical Journal finds the widening gap between personal disposable income and the cost of housing might be leading to poor health, deaths, and suicides. Researchers found social spending on unemployment and pension benefits, as well as rent control programs, could help lower those risks. Multiple celebrities, including Tom Brady, Larry David, Steph Curry, have been named in a class action lawsuit over the collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX. The lawsuit accuses the celebrity endorsers and the company's ex-CEO of targeting, quote, unsophisticated investors who later lost money in the collapse. The Bahamas-based company filed for bankruptcy last week and is now the subject of inquiries from federal regulators and Congress. This is the last day to file a simple tax form if you're one of the 9 million Americans with unclaimed stimulus or child tax credit payments. The IRS began sending letters last month to alert those who are eligible. You still have some time, but not a lot. The IRS filing website will stay open until midnight tonight, less than 2 hours. The next Congress will look vastly different come January. Republicans are taking control of the House and are promising to aggressively look into the Biden administration. And a historic reign of Democratic leadership is coming to an end. Reporter Skylar Henry is on Capitol Hill with details.
Good morning, Madam Speaker.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is making way for the next wave of the Democratic Party.
I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress.
For me, the hour has come for a new generation to lead the Democratic caucus.
In 2007, Pelosi became the first woman to ever hold the Speaker's gavel and oversaw passage of major health care, climate change, and infrastructure legislation.
Never would I have thought that someday I would go from homemaker to House Speaker.
The 82-year-old will continue serving in Congress representing her San Francisco district. The frontrunner to step into Pelosi's shoes is New York's Hakeem Jeffries, who would become the first ever black party leader.
Well, I think it's always good for a party to have new blood and new invigoration, enthusiasm, and new ideas.
Republicans won a majority of seats in the midterm election, and on Thursday began laying out their legislative priorities for the next Congress, including an aggressive oversight on President Biden.
Was Joe Biden directly involved with Hunter Biden's business deals? And is he compromised? That's our investigation.
Democratic Congressman Andy Levin believes Republicans will lose their majority in 2024 if they overreach.
If they want to go and investigate things that aren't substantive, that aren't legitimate, the American people are going to tire of that very quickly.
The GOP is also expected to disband the January 6th Commission and put a renewed focus on the southern border. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
CBS News has learned Congressman Jeffries is expected to make a formal bid for Democratic leader tomorrow. Meanwhile, Republicans are still figuring out who will be the next Speaker of the House. The current minority leader, Kevin McCarthy, is the front runner, but the Speaker needs a majority of the entire House, and it's unclear if he has all the votes needed. A Dutch court convicts the three men who shot down a Boeing 777 in 2014 in a tragedy that killed 298 people. The district judge convicted 2 Russians and 1 Ukrainian with murder for launching a Russian-made missile from war-torn eastern Ukraine and Malaysia Airlines flight MH17. The judge said the men believed it was a military aircraft, but their mistake does not excuse their intent to kill people on board. A 4th suspect was acquitted in the trial, and the guilty men have been arrested. They're unlikely to serve any time in prison in the near future. A little bit later, Missouri Southern looks to stay unbeaten against Angelo State. We'll have highlights.
Plus, snow showers continue for tonight. I'll have those details coming up. Well, today wasn't bad, but we had a cold front that rolled through. Now our temperatures are really dropping across the region. And we got some light snow. You can actually see it at Indigo Sky and Casino just to the west of Seneca, Missouri. We've got these light snow showers across the region that are going to stick around for the next several hours. Look at our temperatures. We're dropping as well. Most of us sitting into the mid-30s at this point in time, and we'll continue to drop. Also snowing, 7th and range line. We could have some minor accumulations. Most of this you can see is just kind of blowing sideways in the wind. 35 northerly winds at about 10 to 20. Humidity is at about 54%. Now with the wind, you get the wonderful wind chill, the way it actually feels to your skin. Mid to upper 20s. These are going to drop into the teens later on tonight. So into the morning, light snow showers next several hours, kind of hang into the 20s, overnight low all the way down to 24 degrees. And look at the snow just blossom over the past several hours. Most of the past few hours, it wasn't even reaching the ground. It was evaporating 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 feet above the surface. But now we have been able to saturate the atmosphere, especially along the state line of Kansas and Oklahoma, and then all the way down into southwestern parts of Missouri. This northern fringe is not reaching the ground. Maybe a few flurries now in Pittsburgh. But once you get southern Montgomery, Labette, Cherokee through Joplin into northeastern Oklahoma, you are seeing light snow across the region. This wave is going to slowly drop through over the next couple hours. We keep getting these weak little waves kind of rotating around. Our jet stream way from Canada dropping in, and it's also pulling in that colder air, so that's why we've been so cold throughout the week. Look at this. Here's our wind chills by morning. Single digits. Northern counties, most of us mid-teens. Make sure you bundle up. And unfortunately, our wind chill factor stays in the upper teens all day long for us on Friday. Let's go through time. We'll go up to midnight. Snow along and south of I-44. As we get to 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, most of this starts to work out of our region. But the clouds stick around. Can't rule out a few flurries all the way into the morning. 7 a.m., lower 20s. As we go through the morning, We just don't warm up much. Upper 20s by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, lower 30s, and that is just about it. We'll start to clear out as we go into the overnight hours tomorrow night. 25 at 7, 29 by 12, dropping back to 29 by 5. High temp, only 33. We should be topping out at about 58 for this time of the year. And with the snow showers, if we got any accumulation, it would be a dusting to a half an inch for us tonight. Let's jump into next week. Next storm system will start to affect us late Wednesday into Thursday. Chances for showers, maybe even thunderstorms lasting into Thanksgiving. So we'll have to really focus on that, especially as we get into next week. A lot of people travel on Wednesday and, of course, that whole stretch. 33 tomorrow, 43 Saturday, 48 on Sunday. 50s return Monday and Tuesday. Those rain chances Wednesday and Thursday. I also want to mention winter forecast 2 weeks from tonight on December 1st.
Okay, so that'll be through the duration of winter, your forecast.
Yes.
Wow, looking forward to that. Thanks, Doug. Jacob here now with sports. Pair of Carthage softball standouts signed to play in college.
Landry Cochran and Ashlyn Jackson both signed today at Carthage. We're going to talk about that. Plus, Pittsburg State football prepares for their first playoff game in 8 years. We'll hear from the team on bringing the playoffs back to Pittsburgh after this. The Pittsburg State Gorillas are back in the Division II National Playoffs for the first time since 2014. Now, the Gorillas get a home game to begin the postseason, hosting the University of Indianapolis on Saturday afternoon. Pittsburg State is 11-0 heading into the weekend. They won the outright MIAA championship in the regular season. Now, Indy is 9-1. They also won a conference championship, taking the GLVC title this fall. Now, for the Gorillas, not a lot of playoff experience on the roster, but they're excited for the opportunity they have on Saturday and happy to bring playoff football back to Carney Smith Stadium.
It feels good, to bring back what they expect, The standard is the standard. We all came here this is what we came here for. We came here to play games like this, so it feels good to be back at that point, but we're not done yet.
It means a lot. I'm just so glad that we could do it, especially for our seniors this year. Guys like PJ, Mo, and Malikas and Zeke Wall, the fact that we get to do it with them and them coming back for another year and putting their jobs on hold and coming back for us, it means a lot, and I'm glad that we could do it for them this year.
There's nothing quite like the jungle, so any opportunity, my opportunities are limited to play there, so any opportunity I have to play there, I'm excited about it. I'm ready to go.
The Missouri Southern women are off to a 4-0 start to the basketball season. The 19th ranked Lions have been on the road for each of their first 4 games. And today, Southern plays their first game at home, trying to stay unbeaten against Angelo State. First quarter, Chrislyn Jones. She had a nice day here. 3-ball, more from Jones in just a little bit. Lacey Stokes knocked down a 3 of her own. She scores 17. Lions up 7 after the first. To the second, Chrislyn Jones. She went 4 from 6 from 3, scoring a team-high 18. Check out the ball movement here. Maddie Stokes finishes the easy lay-in. Then Amaya Johns gets going. Bucket and the foul. Before the half, Southern will get the takeaway. Stokes, one of her 3 steals. Johns on the other end, 3. 16-6 for Amaya Johns in this one. Southern up 12 at half. Then in the second half, Lane Skiles, good from the right side. She scores 12. Missouri Southern 50% from the field in this one, including 7 threes. Lions get to 5-0, beating Angelo State 83-66. On the men's side tonight, Division I action here. K-State aiming for a 3-0 start at home against UMKC. And that one is over. Wildcats win it 69-53. Deontay Johnson, nice night for K-State. 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. A pair of Carthage High School standouts signed today to continue their careers in college. Both of them will play softball at the next level. Ashlyn Jackson headed to Southeast Kansas to join the Fort Scott Community College softball program. She was an all-conference and all-district pick this season. Landry Cochran is signing Division II, going to play at Drury. Cochran is a 4-time All-COC selection and a 4-time All-District selection for Carthage, setting program records single-season hits and career hits.
It's all surreal. Like, this has been my dream since I was 6 years old, so now that's finally come full circle. It's just awesome. I first met the jury coaches whenever I went to a camp before my junior year, and I just really liked the way he interacted with the players and the way he talked about his campus and everything. So this summer I had the chance to play in front of him, and I went and toured their campus, and I just loved it. I loved the way they talked about their softball program. Everything was just awesome.
It's a big weekend coming up. A lot of Pittsburgh State fans I know have been waiting for a playoff game, and they get it Saturday.
Waiting for years. We'll be right back. Take some time now to honor a local veteran. Charles Gregg served in the U.S. Army from 1941 to 45. His hometown, Iola, Kansas. And we're proud to salute Corporal Charles Gregg, a four-state hero. Some Southwest Missouri artists and soup makers have once again put their talents together to help feed people in need. The 10th annual Empty Bowls event wrapped up tonight at the Joplin Empire Market. It's a unique fundraising event. It's where artists and restaurants work together for a great cause. Pottery artists and soup makers from Southwest Missouri participate to make bowls and to make the soup for people to buy. The money raised from these sales will go to 4 privately funded organizations that fight hunger as part of their ministry. A minimum $25 donation is asked for each bowl, but people are encouraged to donate more and frequently do. We hope they did very well. It's going to be another cold night, Doug.
It is. We're going to drop back into the low to mid-20s for overnight lows. Plus, we're going to have snow, light snow, for the next several hours. Most of this is going to be along and south of I-44. Dusting, maybe a quarter of an inch, half an inch in spots. Clouds tomorrow, a few flurries. Only 33, so it's cold. We do get the sunshine back and a little warmer as we head into the weekend.
Final sports notes.
We got a busy night coming up tomorrow night. Of course, we have high school football playoffs in Oklahoma. Also, the Pitt State Classic men's basketball tournament begins tomorrow at Pittsburgh State, so we'll have all that covered right here tomorrow night.
Busy several days ahead for the sports team. Thanks for joining us. The morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.